Hello, good evening, my brothers and sisters in Christ, and my dear friends. I would like to thank those of you who have come especially from my baptism, particularly those of my friends who do not yet believe. Your presence this evening means a lot to me. Before I was a Christian, I was a Buddhist/Taoist, as most Malaysian Chinese are. I was brought up believing that the chief end of man was success, money, and power. I also wrestled constantly with struggles surrounding identity, meaning, and emotion. But I thank God that He pursued me even before I knew Him. Looking back, I clearly see the breadcrumbs He has placed in my life. I came across biblical stories as a child. I had close relatives and close friends who were Christian and who unwaveringly shared their faith with me, and particularly the testimony of their lives. They lived out their Christian faith, and they were clothed in love, in hope, and gentleness towards others, even in the face of difficult circumstances. It was as if the source of their hope was rooted in something much more robust, which I later came to know as the love of Christ. But alas, in my apathy and my stubbornness, I brushed away all these pointers. I held fast onto my own ways. But I thank God that in His great love, He persevered with me. In 2010, I was still in high school. 5 of my high school friends, who I just saw the day before, perished in the dragon boat accident. Suddenly, man's mortality became very real to me. I was sharply reminded about the fickleness of life and how we all are like mist, here today and gone tomorrow. As I attended their funerals, I asked one of my Christian friends, "Who do you think will come to my funeral?" What he said then struck into the depths of my soul. It is not who comes to your funeral, but where you go after. Apart from grief, another common thread ran through all the funerals I attended: hope. Everyone hopes in something, regardless of their belief system. At the time of the tragedy, we hoped that their deaths were not painful, that they had rest, that they were on a better plane of existence, according to my previous beliefs. We performed ritualistic, tedious practices in an attempt to add to their karma, to hopefully earn a better place for them. As I partook in these rituals, there was palpable anxiety. There was so much uncertainty. I could not help but ask myself, how do we know this is not all in vain? How do we know which step of the karmic ladder they were on? And is there any true hope in trusting in this system? Following on from these events, my friends brought me to church, and I encountered the Christian God for the first time. The sermon was tailored to the recent tragedy and how in Christ, Christians have hope that triumphs over death. That this hope is not based on human efforts, as if mortal beings could ever influence the afterlife. Rather, it is based on the love of God shown through the historical man of Christ and His act of laying His life down for us and rising again. At church, I also saw how my friends sang, as we just had, and danced to the Christian God, which plainly shocked me. I never knew joy nor rest in my previous religion, just rules and rituals. There was always more to be done to hopefully climb the ladder of existence. It was tiresome and it was joyless. Yet I saw how Christians could rest in a relationship with a God who loves them, who said, "Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." A God who was present in their sufferings, not aloof and distant. A God who loved us so much that He died for us. In the face of these revelations, I was prompted to investigate Christianity further, and very quickly, the doors to my heart were broken down. God had come in. In the face of mortality, tiresome, anxiety-inducing religion, what C.S. Lewis once said rang very true. Christianity, if false, is of no importance, but if true, is of infinite importance. The good news of Jesus Christ around that time was a spring of water to me in the desert, and thus, by God's power and His love, I asked Jesus to come into my life in 2010. My faith has been a journey with God. It has not been easy, but it has been life-changing. Through many trials and tribulations, stories for another time, He has slowly pruned away the sin in me and changed me for the better. I am still very much a work in progress. I am still tainted with sin, but He has helped me immensely with my emotions, my self-loathing, my patience, and my love for others. He has shown me where true happiness, meaning, hope, and love can be found in Him. Ever since I became a Christian, I have wanted to be baptized, as the Bible clearly commands us to do so, as a public declaration of our faith. Finally, I now feel the time is right, as I have finally obtained the blessing of my Buddhist parents, the same parents who once screamed at me for believing in Jesus, for forsaking our traditions. By the grace of God, their cursing has turned to blessing, and they have seen how God has changed me, and they have seen His love in the Christians around me. And what a better place to be baptized than in the church, which has been crucial to my spiritual growth. By the grace of God alone, I stand before you, humbled and thankful for how He has brought me here, and I am ready to be baptized.